26th, 12th City Council work session.
Recording in progress.
I'm sitting in the middle as our illustrious mayor is away from the city tonight. So I'll do my best to keep us all in at least somewhat of a straight line. And if I goof up and I go sideways, I know I got lots of people here to make sure we get back on track. So, work session. First up tonight is a presentation from Republic Services. Excuse me. Thank you, KJ, for being here. And you'll make the introduction and set it up. Thank you. Yes, please. Okay. Let's do that.
Lindsay, Marshall, I'm here with KJ and our partners to talk about a couple of different informational pieces for things that are going to be coming up. So Republic offers residential organics, so essentially it's residential composting. And that's something the city hasn't implemented yet, but it is an option for us to add to service. We're going to learn a little bit more about residential composting and those options. And then the county has been working with the hauler partners as well on a program that is similar. What about it goes by Ridwell coming into town? So it's called Recycle Plus, and it's expanded recycling. And this is a program that customers can opt into. And so both of the programs that we're bringing to tell you about tonight are things that council can provide guidance on to say, yes, we'd like to add these to our services. We're interested in doing this, or no, I don't think we're ready to add this to our services at this time. So we'll tell you about both of these programs, and we are going to have to come back with our public partners in a few months because Metro made those rate increases in the summer. So we'll have to add that. And so if we wanted to add these services, we might as well do that at the same time that we would essentially adopt that rate increase. Just so you don't have to do rate adjustments at the same time to include those programs. So, engage interest and answer questions.
And then rather than looking from direction to us, whether we want to pursue one or both of them, we'll talk about that going forward. All right, thank you.
Good evening, Council. I'm KJ Lewis. I'm your Municipal Relationship Manager for Republic Services. And I'm here, as Lindsay just said, I'm here to explain a little bit about these potential programs. And start right now. Climate stewardship is the heart of our business. Like, that's really the core of our business. And we are really putting a focus on sustainability and action. So safety, climate, leadership, and community. And I have two really good, sweet examples of our service to our communities here. This is our operations team at WRI. And we got a call that a woman had accidentally thrown away her wallet into the garbage. So she called pretty frantically. There was a significant amount of cash in there.
Oh, gosh.
And we were able to track the truck and dump it in like a separate location. And this team went through all of the garbage and found her wallet. And then she was so happy, she ran over to Costco and she got these pies and cakes.
Oh, so kind.
But it gets better. This is Rabi the Rabbit. He was the much beloved pet of a 3-year-old. And the parents thought, they were being smart. Like, if we ever lose Rabi, we better have a spare Rabi. Rabi got recycled.
Oh, no.
And they tried to introduce the new Rabi to the child, and he was not going to be fooled at all.
Oh, no.
So the parents again called us, and the team that I just showed you, we did the same thing. We dumped the recycling truck, and that team went through and found Rabi, and that was on the news also. So residential organics is a program that we do with other cities, Wilsonville and Lake Oswego mainly. And what it is basically include the food in your yard cart. So if you're interested in this, we would work with your wonderful city staff to educate customers and the community. And it really is a beneficial use of the material because it gets composted instead of landfilled. And when food is landfilled, it releases methane, as you know, and so you can divert quite a bit of that. It's a pretty low cost. We estimate between 60 and 75 cents a month per customer. Little update on the commercial organics, which is separate from what I was just talking about. I was talking about residential organics and the potential to do that. The commercial organics, as you know, presented, I don't remember when, a long time ago, is a metro mandate for commercial customers of varying sizes, or starting with the largest customers, then medium, and it's a 3-year rollout to basically, you know, not include the food into the not send it to the landfill. So it's a great program in Tualatin. We have 29 unique commercial organics customers, about 31 tons since January, which equates to 80,000 pounds annualized that are not going to the landfill. And the program's going really well. So we work closely with the county staff to educate the businesses that are participating in this program. As Lindsay said, Recycle Plus is a new program that's rolled out in Washington, unincorporated Washington County. And the county dictates what we can take, you know, and so we couldn't take these items. But there appears to be a demand for taking these items at the curbside. Even, you know, we do have depots where people can take these items, or, you know, I know New Seasons by me takes a lot of this stuff. But this is in Recycle Plus, we can take stretchy plastic foam and bags, clear #1 clamshells, so takeout containers, textiles, and fluorescent light bulbs. And in Washington County, we're also collecting batteries in the glass bin. So people put them in a baggie and just put them in with their glass, because our driver is getting out to empty the glass anyways. And so then we just keep those separate. It actually is a benefit in the long run, because batteries cause a lot of fires.
Yeah.
So how this program works is there's a base charge, and then there's 2 opportunities to have this bin picked up. The customer calls ahead, 2 days beforehand and says, hey, my bin is full. And then we schedule them and we send a special truck out. All our drivers are union, which is also beneficial. So they have great wages. They are not big workers. It's about 20 gallons, that bin. So I couldn't fill up something like that in a month. You know, it would probably be like maybe every other month. And so it ends up being pretty affordable. And this is an opt-in, opt-out. You don't have to have a subscription. You aren't locked into a contract. You pay a monthly base rate as sort of an administrative fee of $2.50. And then when you call for a pickup, it's $9.25. It's rolling out really well in the county. People like it. And also, actually, let me go back to that. Other cities are looking at this. Beaverton is launching on November 1st. Gresham collects batteries. King City is rolling out. Durham is voting tomorrow. Tigard's work session is tomorrow, and Sherwood is meeting on this at council next month. And we'll be meeting with Lake Oswego. Just a reminder that we do have a depot that takes this material there at our Ritter Road facility. If you ever want to drop off your electronic waste, or the polystyrene, which is that hard, rigid.
Packaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you bought it has a trademark name, but I'm not supposed to use it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the heavy packing stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so what we have spoken with staff about is returning in November, looking at this metro increase, which looks like it's going up on average 7% a year for the next foreseeable future, but we'll have to see what metro decides, considering everything that's going on in the world. And so we thought we'd come back. I don't remember the exact date. Do you remember?
First meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. Thank you so much. Please let us know if you have any questions.
I actually had a question about the residential composting. Is that something that the whole city is in and the whole city is out, as opposed to doing it by household? Okay,
So everybody can participate. They don't have to participate.
okay, they don't.
Yeah.
But the rate increases and everything would apply to everybody in the city, whether you use that service or not.
Everyone with that yard cart bin would have the 60 to 75 cents increase
Mhm.
for everybody. So you could choose to use it or not, but everybody would be paying that 60 to 75 cents increase in their bill for the service, for the option.
Right. And I would guess there'd probably be a pretty large customer education campaign to help guide people into what is and isn't appropriate to go in the yard debris bin, like with the.
Yeah, exactly.
And the county has a lot of materials that we can use citywide. We can do targeted education. We can do bill inserts where public can send out. So it would be, I would assume, a few months at least of education before we would say, okay, you can start putting things in. So we have that in time to make sure that things are going in the bin that should be going in the bin to avoid that. So I would say I would like and say, yes, we'd like to do that with like an.
And the nice thing is other cities have already implemented the program. So like Lake Oswego has a ton of resources that have.
Successful ways to go about it.
Yeah.
Whoa, we got hands everywhere. Lord, help me. How about we just start at this end and we'll work our way down, if that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, what is going to be the change then in the process for the yard debris? That's question one. From like, what if we just put our organics in there right now? It will change. Then also, this if it's 60 to 75 cents does not include whatever the increase is going to be, correct? In addition, I mean, because Metro's raising rates. So this will be 60 to 75 cents per customer, whether they use it or not.
Sorry, this is Matt. Ketchum.
Oh, hi, Matt.
Matt Ketchum, Operations Manager. If I understood the question correctly, the process itself and what changes.
Yeah, please.
When you put the food in your residential cart, it'll actually help the composting process. A certain amount of food helps that process work a little bit faster. It bakes, so to speak. The temperature goes up a little bit. You feed air to it. That's how it works.
In the garbage one or in the yard debris?
In the yard.
Great, thanks. I'm just making sure.
Yeah. It's in the MSW. Well, it's going to landfill and they're going to capture that as RNG or renewable natural gas. But the composting process actually gets more efficient with the addition of a little bit of food.
So you don't add anything. So if people were right now, for instance, already putting their stuff, their
There's a
organics in
banana
there,
peel in there right now. It's going to the same place.
and your process is not going to change whether we choose to opt into this or not.
That's correct. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wondering, on the Recycle Plus, you said you can call in, and I'm just speaking personally, I'm not gonna call in, I'm gonna forget. Do you have where you can go online and order that?
Unfortunately, no. But
Okay.
They have an app called Recycle Day. Is that what you're thinking of? Or the Recycle Plus app?
no, they don't have a Recycle Plus.
So there's a Recycle Day app from the county, and it's primarily for customers in the county that have, so we have weekly pickup of all 3 bins.
Right.
Some cities have, yard carts every other week, so keep track. So there might be a way to integrate that, but
Yeah, just for, I don't know. I think we all just like to get on our phones and do things nowadays, not call. And then My other question was just on both these programs, is there any way like, once you implement it to kind of quantify, like, I don't know, like the organics, the increase in organics you're picking up or the recycle, how much you're picking up over a time frame, like a year to kind of promote the program?
Yeah, certainly, especially with the recycling.
Okay. Thank you.
Since these are optional programs, you could possibly implement them, and if you say, oh, they're not working, you could roll it back, right?
Is that the client or us as a city? Because I think you mentioned something like if you're, it would increase 75 cents, right? Is that something?
Between 60 and
75. So if we, when you say opt out, is that opt out, the city can opt out, or once we're in, or as a city?
Well,
Making decisions.
for the organics program, that would be a citywide program. So if council chooses to implement the organics program, you know, include the food, then that would be a citywide program. So people could, you know, personally choose not to put their food in their yard waste bin, but everybody would be charged that 60 to 75 cents. The other program, Recycle Plus, is an opt-in, opt-out. So, you know,
On an individual basis.
on an individual basis.
Per person, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I want to make sure that it's clear that if we join the organic one that you were saying, if we join as a city, and then you say people can decide, like say, okay, the city's in, I'm a resident, I go to Republic and then I order that bin, or it's just,
No, you already have the bin. It's your
oh,
yard.
it's in my, okay, like the green, okay. I understand. Okay, thank you. And in your, I'm curious to hear a little bit about how in your experience of what you've seen in other cities, how does the apartment complex activity look like with all these different bins and different?
Well, currently in Washington County, we aren't offering Recycle Plus yet to multifamily dwellings, but there is a plan to do that in the future. It's working, all the haulers are working with the county on that sort of thing. And I don't believe that multifamily has organics programs.
So none of the cities that you're working with in Metro have this multifamily,
Good question.
sorry, as of yet, it just,
Right. Yeah.
there's nothing right now to kind of compare to or anything like that. Think about I think that's it for me. I just was curious about this topic. Thank you.
Counselor Brooks?
Hi. So I feel fortunate because we've met before, and the reason why we've met is because I went with the Juanita Poll Center to a site visit of our transfer station. Gosh, when was it?
6 weeks ago, maybe?
No, 6 weeks ago. It was earlier in the year for sure, but way earlier in the year, before summer, and maybe 6 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. So one of the things, so my suggestion is for everyone to go to the transfer station to learn and understand what's happening over there. And it's so complex. People work so hard. Everybody, you did such a great job touring us and all the people that were there. There was a lot of seniors that come with us to the Juanita Poll trips. And I learned so much. So one of the things I learned about was all the drop-off opportunities. So it's beyond just the styrofoam. You can drop off. Do you have a list of?
Yeah, it was on I thought the recycle was good to bring up again.
Those things like your computer, your e-waste.
Yes.
You can drop off that stuff. Cardboard.
Yeah, at the Ritter Road facility.
There you go.
Yes.
Glass bottles, just your regular old recyclables and metal.
Yeah, and also batteries, right? So it doesn't really say batteries on there, but batteries you can. I would guess it's part of e-waste. I don't know. And one of the things like for volunteers in my neighborhood with the Twelton Sustainability Network, one of us gets all of our stuff together and goes out to the transfer station and drops it off. So working out little ideas with your CIOs or whatever is a really good way of helping use the transfer station better with the things that we can do already without any changes that we have in operations. The other thing I learned, which was astounding to me, were the number of, you'd see all the trucks that would dump everything off and then the big semi trucks that take everything out and they take it. Can you explain the process a little bit about what happens at the transfer station? Because the transfer station itself is quite a story.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I'm happy to give a tour every time because it's so interesting.
Yeah, I think our council should go on tour for that. I would advocate for that.
Well, the trucks come in and then they dump they dump the garbage. You're asking about the garbage.
Yep.
They dump the garbage on the floor. We have a very, very big floor. And then that garbage, there's like a hole on one side of the floor where the semi truck backs in, and the garbage gets pushed into the top of the semi truck and then compacted, and then that semi truck takes the garbage to the landfill.
And this is all stuff, when things show up at the transfer station, it's stuff that's supposed to be recycled, right?
Well, both.
Okay, so there's garbage that comes there too, because some of the, what was surprising to me was how much ends up in the landfill that is meant to be recycled, because just people not knowing how to do it perfectly. And I've learned a lot since I've started learning more. The other question I had was, how many trucks of compacted garbage go to the landfill?
Ooh, I didn't know you were going to ask me about trucks, but I could tell you tons.
Yeah, okay.
480 tons a day is the average. And that's not just Tualatin's garbage. It also includes Wilsonville and Lake Oswego and the counties.
Yes.
Back in Western Washington. But I'll get back to you on the truck.
Yeah, do you know how many tons fit in a truck?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I would be happy to get back to you.
Are they-
Oh,
18.
excellent.
Holy smokes.
18 tons. So do the math, 18 tons and it's how, what is it? 480.
80.
So whatever that is, it's 40
An
trucks
enormous amount.
every single
Yeah.
day. So when we're thinking about these decision-making, I really implore council to think about it and to also think about what we learned about the methane issue. So the thing for me that's very interesting about the food waste program is the help that would give us for our greenhouse gas inventory. And we're looking at that. And there might be some creative ways that we look at that too, around funding and things like that is what I think. Since we have a good baseline with our climate action plan, which we're really proud of. Let's see, what's any other questions? I just want to go back out again. It's really an amazing tour. People should take it. We all got to wear hard hats and vests. And I showed off at the Twelton Sustainability Network booth whenever I booth. I think I'm really excited about this opportunity. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to talk about it and to see what's viable. I have one other question about charging. Like, so if people that live in apartments and multifamily dwelling can't opt in, then that's not on their bill?
Well, no, it would, yes, it would be, it's amortized, the rates are amortized over the whole city.
Okay. So, and then businesses too?
Businesses, because of the metro mandate, businesses are participating in the,
Yes.
Already.
like restaurants or Costco or, Cafe Yum.
So do we pay for that too, as it stands right now, residents? Is it amortized with businesses is what I'm saying?
The business rates are separate
from residential?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Counselor Sokol?
Thank you. I have two questions.
The first one, can you just explain in a little bit more detail the methane difference between the food waste going in the garbage versus the yard debris? And I feel like we kind of skipped over that pretty quick, and I just want to make sure I fully understand the difference.
So currently, when food is just thrown away and then it gets taken to the landfill, at the landfill is also a really good tourist.
Yeah.
You are also invited to the landfill. It gets put in different cells, and then we extract the RNG from the landfill, that because the food creates a gas called methane. And so then we take that out and it heats homes near our landfill, something like 40,000 homes. And you know, our trucks that we use in Wilsonville are also RNG, as you learned on the tour. But it's just, you know, I'm not saying one's better or worse, but I think it's not, you know, you can just put it in your yard waste and we're going to pick up your yard waste bin at any rate. So,
Okay. My second question is, if there's no process change, what are the extra funds going towards? So from Republic's end.
well, you know, we have to pay our drivers. We have administrative costs, and the weights are different.
Okay. Be heavier. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have any more questions? I had one question to kind of dovetail on what Councilor Reyes asked. For multifamily housing, I believe it's the city of Portland that has almost like a countertop food
Oh, yeah.
disposal something. Is that ever an option?
There would be a cost. That's certainly an option, but the city of Wilsonville used some funds to give those countertop ones out to their residents.
Oh, okay.
But the other thing, I live in the city of Portland, and I can tell you that that countertop, I did not like the design because it had the lid didn't close all the way, and so I was always having to realize. So I just bought like what are they called? Snapware. It's a Tupperware that snaps, and that's what I use, and it's fine.
But if we were to do a program, something like that, whether we used those types of containers or gave out something different, I mean, could we work with you to come up with some sort of a collection, since yard debris collection for multifamily housing isn't something that is probably done the same way that it's done for residential. So people would need to have somewhere to dispose of that, to make it available for you guys. And if it's, you know, if it's a large family, then they're going to need to do it, you know.
Certainly. Yeah. Well,
more
and
commonly.
yeah, I suppose you could think about that, thinking like in a large multifamily complex too. You would have to have, you know, a dumpster, if you will,
Yeah.
just food, and that maybe some property managers would take issue with that.
Yeah, we'd have to get creative. I could see that as being really problematic if there's not a, do we know what the city of Portland does for multifamily, for food scrap recycling, or do they just don't implement it in that? Okay.
One more question.
Oh, sure.
One more too. I'm wondering if, like, if you take your food now and stuff you don't put in your garden, you throw it down your garbage disposal, where does that go as opposed to? Where
Oh,
does
it gets ground up and it goes through the pipe to the water,
wastewater?
wastewater treatment.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, gray water.
Probably Craig. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I just have one quick one. I also understand that we have a lot of people involved with the master recycling program. Is that, and then do you collaborate with that? I think it's county run, am I
Yeah,
correct?
it's county run. Yeah, there's one that Metro runs, and then Washington County, Muscat County have those programs.
So if there's people that are involved with the master recycler program and we do some of these changes, then does that program change too? Are there going to be new educational pieces for the people that do those trainings?
Oh, I can't speak on behalf of the county. I don't know.
Okay, but we could advocate for that maybe. Okay, thank you.
We have another question. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just curious. You mentioned the methane that comes from the landfills heats homes. So clearly the garbage goes somewhere different than the yard debris. So what do you think the impact is going to be for these families that are expecting?
Oh, there's no end to the garbage. So
So there won't be an impact
I
for
don't,
those families. Yes.
but we
Oh,
really, yeah.
Sorry. Landfill will continue to generate basically the same amount of methane for the next 30 years.
There's a surplus.
There's quite an abundance, so they won't be impacted. The only other part of your question earlier, I wish to hit on is it's diverting from the landfill, right? So that's part of the math, and it's actually cheaper to compost. So your disposal will be offset, right? So those tons that are going to landfill now are going to be cheaper to go to compost, right? So that's part of why the rate is only adjusting slightly.
Yeah.
For this. So I should have probably put that in my answer.
So the weight is heavier in the landfill, or excuse me, in the yard debris than it is in the garbage.
The weights
you
will be
will.
the same, right?
Oh, the weights will be the
say
same.
if you
One
put
together.
20 pounds of food in the trash, you're gonna put 20 pounds in your yard. But to dispose of that is significantly cheaper at compost because there's a reuse there.
So you should be giving us the 60 cents.
Oh, no, that's.
No,
That's why your adjustment is
Yeah, only 60.
smaller. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for the presentation. That was really interesting.
Thanks for,
Really.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you back in November. And maybe in the meantime, we can work with staff or with Sherilyn and set up a couple different times that maybe counselors or interested people in the community might come down and take a tour.
Absolutely.
It sounds like it's very educational. Very. Yeah, thank you. And I look forward too about seeing what the community education portions will be if we move forward with some of these. Because I think that's a big issue too, to make sure that people use it correctly so that the efforts aren't in vain because it ends up becoming just trash in the end. So, but thank you very much.
Well, speaking of community education, just they do all this education for kids as it stands right now, and they have coloring pages. And do you want to explain just a little, because they're good at it, community education?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, I
we
bet.
do have resources for teachers and for kids on our national website, and I'm happy to get that to council through Lindsay.
I love that.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Oh, that does remind me of one more thing. A meeting or two ago, when we were talking about recycling, there was going to be new signage for the recycling bins for people that were for the beige recycling bins to update for people because we felt
Yeah,
like,
the county produces those for you. And then-
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a county person that was talking about.
Yeah, I
it,
was just
yeah.
wondering if there was any, because they were saying it was sort of imminent that it was coming and we hadn't seen it yet. So
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you guys knew.
It's a phase out, so it's the standards,
Oh,
housing
yeah.
standards. And so it's, I think it's a 7-year phase out that everything has to be, all the bins have to be signed in, having the right signage and the right colors over the next 7 years.
Oh, so it's
Oh, I
much,
see.
okay.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking. I was
Process.
thinking that it was going to be much sooner, but,
Yeah, and it'll be uniform throughout the metro area.
oh, that's great.
Do you
Councilor
need
Brown?
direction from us today if we're interested, or is it just something?
No,
you're gonna
this
bring
was
to us
just-
next month?
Informational.
Informational, so.
Okay,
it could
great.
be, hey, come back, we want to know a little bit more, we have some more questions. It could be, talk to us again later, but kind of gauging here's 2 programs, here's something to think about.
Yeah.
And then if you would like
I mean,
to
it's interesting,
back
but I
with
want to
some
see the
more.
rate increases tied in too, so we know, what
Mhm.
this is going to cost for residents.
Yep.
I think that's great. And we'll cover that, I believe, in November, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Come back
when they
to
come back.
specifically about
Because I think
signage.
everybody's interested, but I think that,
Yeah.
yeah, I think especially with economic indicators,
Yeah.
cost and benefit is a huge thing right now. So,
Yeah, and if there are any solutions on multi-family location, like complex, like apartments, if you experience that or seen that, that would be good to know, because we do have some apartments.
Yeah, we
here.
have quite a few.
Quite a few.
I'd like to talk about that further. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To be clear, is there direction from the council this evening you look into these programs and come back, which is what the question the staff was looking for tonight.
Are you curious to learn?
Yes.
learn more
Yes,
and come back?
Yeah,
I would.
and maybe even do a tour.
say-
We're very interested.
Yeah, I would, yeah, I would do, we have at least 4 people that are interested in taking this forward, right? Yeah, so hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Yes. Thank you. That would be direction, is to bring it back in November, talk a little more deeply, talk about pricing.
Okay, it is on
Yes.
November 14th, the rate adjustment, tentatively scheduled for the 14th.
Perfect. And then also, we would be interested in setting up some times for counselors to sign up to take some tours.
I have that noted.
Thank you. That would be terrific.
One more question.
Oh,
Would you
sure.
be interested in us coming back in another work session to talk more details about any questions you have, or should we, or would you prefer to come back?
I think work session might be more appropriate since we have a lot of pricing impact kind of questions servicing.
No, we know what the increase is gonna be.
Yeah, I think that might be,
Mhm.
is that where it's
Yeah.
tentatively on the schedule for November
The rate adjustment is tentatively scheduled to come back on November 14th.
as a work session item or as a
On
council?
general business. So if you're looking
Okay.
for an additional work session item, that's scheduled.
Okay, we'd like that.
You'll work with someone, get that onto one of your future work session.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so moving on, agenda review. Are there any items that people would like to take off of the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none. Are you, Counselor Brooks, would you handle the public health announcement? Okay, and then we have the new employee introduction. Got that handled. The Pledge of Allegiance. I think I'm next in the rotation, but it might seem odd to introduce myself. So Counselor Pratt, do you want to flip flop with me and I'll take your turn next time? And I think, do we want to do council communications now rather than at the end of the meeting?
Sure, let me get up there.
Are we good? Would you like to do that? Okay. How about we just, if it's okay with everybody, just want to start at one end and work our way through? Counselor Hillier? For council communications,
Thank you, Councilor
things we
President.
need to know for your hard work.
Nope, the only official meeting that I have attended since our last meeting was our DEI committee with Councilor Sacco. And we're really excited about the work that's happening. The groups were brought back presentations to what they think the makeup should look like of the group in the sense of a number and the structure for decision-making and potential areas of work. And so we're getting really excited to be here on November 14th with our team. And I'm sure Councilor Sacco may want to add something, but we're really proud to represent the council and be part of this. So thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Awesome. Counselor Pratt?
Okay, I went to C4 Metro meeting and we talked mostly about the 2023 Regional Transportation Plan and just from the group is we wanted safety to be the first priority. So then I went to the Midwest CIO meeting and they talked about tolling, the CERT program. Officer French without a dog came and talked about, he's in our neighborhood, so he was there. And then Mike McCarthy, no, he left, but he came and talked because there's concerns about safety on Killarney because there aren't sidewalks. So he spoke to that. And then I got a moment to talk about the Parks Bond, which was nice. And then I went to a chamber meeting. They talked about tolling and mostly it was a presentation about the Parks Bond from Ross Hoover and Emma Gray. And I still have more. C4 I-205 Diversion Committee, they had picked, I think it was 50, Counselor Sacco could tell me, intersections where they thought diversion might occur. And they culled it down to, I think, 25. And then they divided them up and where they think diversion isn't, it'll be a problem in 2027 or 2045 because those other 2 years they looked at. And Kristen called out something like she could talk to, but my question was, they have 65th and Borland as a 2045 problem.
How about a 2022 problem?
I kind of started with, I'm really surprised.
Thank you.
But one thing they hadn't considered, it sounded like they hadn't put into their dynamics was the known construction that's going on in Tualatin and Wilsonville that will occur before 2027. So that's part of what they didn't include. And my other issue is like, they weren't looking at any multimodal like biking or pedestrian things. And we all know like there's a nice little sidewalk right at the intersection, but if you go, south, there's nothing.
Yeah,
So
literally.
they said they're going to look at these things. We shall see.
Right. And that's a good point, because we know that increase in traffic was going to impact every area. Was that the only intersection that they called out when they were looking at 50 intersections? I would think.
Pretty
Okay.
much.
Golly. Were we able to add any intersections for them to look at, or they just had their list and that was that?
Well, that was one of my questions was, where's the other 25? Why were those not on the list? And what happened, like there had to been other intersections that they considered, and what happened with those? Like what else, what's the full purview?
Right.
That was my question to them.
Oh, good.
And what's
Thank you
interesting is
for-
these were supposed to come out of the environmental study, which hasn't been completed yet. So I don't know how they did this ahead of time.
Well, and to denote that all of Borland is going to be a huge problem, yet only call out just the one intersection in the
Right.
extreme
Someone else did call
west
out Borland
side.
and Stafford.
Yeah.
And
Golly. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for representing us on being a good advocate for the city. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank you. No official city or city of Tualatin business meeting, but can I mention something about one of our recipients of our grant? Here? They're
Sure.
having an event. It's called Borland Free Clinic. If you know of it, we've donated to them before. They're having their 5th annual gala, and it's a fundraiser, and it will be October 22nd. Oregon Golf Club. So if you want more information, visit borlandclinic.org. And their event, it's called Borlandia.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, yeah.
Thought I'd share that since some of the nonprofits that are here in our community.
Yeah.
And by the way, they do free health exam, free healthcare for individuals that don't have insurance or a way of paying. So they don't ask any questions. You can just go there and health exam.
That's great. And they're still located or co-located
Yeah.
out at the church.
They're still at the church.
Rolling Hills
Yeah,
Church.
Rolling Hills, yes, by Stafford. Exit on 205. So yeah, on Borland,
Mhm.
all the way to the end. You'll find them on the right-hand side. But yeah, so that's where they are right now. So if you're out there listening, spread the word. If you know someone that needs healthcare, vaccines, all that, they're open for that, and they will not ask any questions about who you are, what you do, or anything like that.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for bringing that up. That is a great community opportunity. Council Brooks, do you have
Sure.
meetings to share?
Oh, yeah. Well, first I had a meeting with people in the Parks Department. So just an FYI, the Tualatin Sustainability Network. I mentioned really briefly that we were awarded a grant from Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District. And part of that money will be going to city parks for our first backyard habitat garden. And so I met with city staff about timelining that, and we have really great partners with nurseries, Bosque Dell down in Stafford that's willing to give us even more discounted rates, and landscaping consulting. So it's a really exciting project. And the other part of the money will be going to the backyard habitat garden at the Heritage Center. And they already have a backyard habitat garden there, but it's only rated silver, which is the lowest rating. So we're anticipating elevating that rating. So I'm really excited about that. I just want to share it with you guys. I'm anticipating doing a native plant sale coming up to raise funds, even more funds to do even more. Then on the 14th, I did a regional water providers consortium executive committee meeting, and I've made an initiative that I'm excited about. I'm not going to say nothing, it's not been passed yet, so I don't want to speak too soon, but it has to do with water. It has to do with diversity. Let's put it that way. And I'll tell you more as it comes up, but I'm very excited. I've been percolating with this idea for a very long time, so I'm excited to see some movement on it. And it's fun to do initiatives. And then we met with the Historical Society too. And there's been a lot going on for Heritage Months with El Grito. I was at the Mariachi Festival last weekend at the Tonkin Field. Just avail yourself of, here we are tonight with this great Mexican food. I'm looking at the next thing. Oh, I want to say that I went to a play. It was in Hillsborough, I forget the theater, but one of the women that's on the arts committee starred in it, and there were two main characters, and it was called Ripcord, and it was excellent. It was so funny, so good, and they kind of had this odd couple, and they did these two same actors played odd couple, female odd couple in the past, and they were very good with that too. So it was a lot. So it was really fun to go see a Tualatin Star, and I brought another city councilor from or candidate from Tigard with me, and then we took the actress out to dinner afterwards or happy hour over at Bricks. So it was just a fun, cool Tualatin moment. So I just thought I would share that with you guys. And encourage people to check it out. We have such amazing, talented people in our community. Let's see, sorry, my calendar's jumping around and I need to.
And do you have a date or a time or a location for the plant sale to raise funds for the Heritage Garden?
Yeah, the plant sale will be the same weekend as the pumpkin regatta, 15th and 16th. And we're still deciding locations, either the police department, there's an auxiliary parking lot we might be using, or I was going to reach out to see if that fireworks corner is available. So those are the two options I'm thinking about. And then that was the Historical Society. Oh, I'm also, just so you guys know, I'm on the League of Oregon Cities Women's Caucus, and we are, I am part of the review of the nominating committee for board members. So we have openings and we're reviewing applications right now for women that want to be on the board for the Women's Caucus of the LOC. So I'd encourage any of the women counselors here to apply. If you want more information, reach out.
Perfect, thank
You
you.
bet. And then, because I don't have enough to do, so I thought I'd do that too. And the other thing I want to say is I went to the Stafford, we talked about this before, to the Stafford Family Festival, and it was over at, whose farm was it at? Yeah, Fiala Farms. And so I just want to suggest, I was just over there last weekend. They have you-cut flowers that turn out beautiful, beautiful big tomatoes that you can stuff that you can't find at the grocery store. And then I mentioned to them that I was meeting with the Vote Yes for the Tualatin Parks bond, and that I'm going to carve a pumpkin with the symbol in it. And so, and asked if they donate a couple pumpkins, which they did. So I just wanted to thank them. And so, they also have this cute pumpkin washing thing that no matter how heavy a pumpkin is, it floats. So they have this bucket and you see little kids with these little brushes cleaning their pumpkins when they buy them and dragging the little wagons around and everything. And they have beautiful, beautiful sunflowers that are $2 a stalk. And there's several sunflowers per stalk, which during with the Ukrainian thing, just feels, I have my house decorated with sunflowers right now in solidarity. So I just wanted to bring that up. And I'm going to look at my other calendar. There might be some things I forgot that I want to do at the end, but
Okay.
that's it for
All right.
me
Well,
for
thank
now.
you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
Counselor Sacco.
So I attended the Equity Committee Planning Group on the 13th, as Counselor Hillier mentioned earlier. We had small group presentations where each group presented their own ideas of what they see the permanent committee looking like. And so our next meeting, we're going to narrow down those ideas, and everybody's input will come to a consensus, which all of you will hear in November. So very excited for all of you to see everyone's hard work. Also attended the I-205 Diversion Subcommittee. As Counselor Pratt mentioned, we reviewed diversion projects, and we started with about 50. And I think we're actually down to like 23 was the number, so even less. And so I pulled up the list of Tualatin locations. So we have Tualatin on the 2027 list is stopped controlled intersection at Stafford Road and Mountain Road. And the potential mitigation is signalized or provide a roundabout. I think there's only 3 of them, so it's not going to take too long. Hold on a second.
See what they are.
The Tualatin on the 2045 signalized intersection at Borland Road and 65th. And so the note for that one is monitor / long-term mitigation. So,
And there's already a signal there.
and then 2045 roundabout at Stafford and Childs Road. And then, okay. And then 2027 signalized intersection at I-5 northbound, and then also southbound,
What year was that?
2027. So those are our only projects that made the final list. Again, I asked what projects didn't make the list and why. And there were also other projects that I'm sure that were considered that didn't make the list of 50. What are those projects and why didn't they even make the list of 50? And that's what I'd like to see, kind of the
Right.
full scope to see
Another-
if there's anything missing. Because one of the things they talked about too was, like those projects are from their modeling, and their modeling can only tell us so much. There's lived experiences that we see every single day driving the roads, and they're hoping to get that information. But how do we know what information to provide if we don't even know what else was considered that could possibly bump those projects to put it on this list of 23?
Absolutely. And then things that do get left off, is there a process for elevating them again? And is there a process for looking for funding and for studying and all these things? That's always my favorite. Thank you guys very much. Oh,
one
I'm
more
sorry, I
thing.
don't- well,
I would just like to say that we have these beautiful stickers that were made. We also do have some yard signs, so people out there that want to show their support for the Tualatin Parks Fund. We do have some swag. Feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram. There you can also find our email address, which I could look up really quick, but find us on Facebook and Instagram. Yes, for Tualatin Parks.
Can I say one more thing about that? We're having a party at Bella 2 from 10 to noon. It's really campaign thing for me, but I'm gonna have speakers from the park. So if anybody has any questions for me, for any of the other candidates that are going to be there, or about this bond, please come from 10 to noon to Bella 2 and
Great.
have some coffee and fresh croissants and fruit.
Perfect. Okay, so it gives us about 5 minutes until the main council meeting starts. So I will adjourn our work session and we can reconvene in 5 minutes. How about that? Thank you.